So, even more issues with the server. RAID array was dropping out again. In my last video, which I'll link to here, I showed how I tried replacing the RAID card and doing stuff. It didn't really help, so, more fun. Okay, so, here's what we're gonna try doing this time. We're gonna forget having a RAID 5 in software. And because that's what I'm currently doing. It's a hardware RAID 5 on this RAID card. We're going to forget doing that, and we're going to just use ZFS and use this guy as just a JBOD controller. That's also nice, because if I ever wanted to grow it, I could do it a bit easier. This guy's only used as a backup, which is nice, but I really like the backup running as much as I can. So, let's do that first. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to first take out the RAID card. You'll find out more why later, because it doesn't let me configure the RAID card. It'll solve this problem too. Because I'm gonna have to configure it all as JBOD. This computer can't configure the RAID card at all because this motherboard just doesn't like to talk to it. I also am gonna upgrade the memory to 4 gigs that I have here because I want to run ZFS 2. I have another drive. I'm gonna run ZFS 2. It'll give me 9 terabytes usable, which is what I kind of want. I can also use ZFS to make snapshots and stuff. And yeah, here's the current 2 gig stick. We're going to put it in 2 gig sticks of this stuff I just have laying around that I was using in another system, but that system doesn't really need it anymore. So now we're going to chuck it. So this guy is 4 gigs, which should be enough for ZFS, especially for a backup server, because I don't need the performance of anything beefy. I've seen pictures. Okay, I'm gonna go install the memory off camera because it's gonna take a while. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do now is I'm also gonna throw in this second drive. Or I guess it would be 4th, I don't know what drive number would be. Because I don't have the limitation of the whole, max, 4 drives because of that RAID controller is only a 4-porter. So I'm going to get this guy in here, and then I'm going to get some screws, screw him in here, give him some power, and he'll be happy. And then, I think, yeah, I have a power connector just here that I'm not using. And then I'm going to go reconfigure the RAID. Oh, and it's time for the whole Frankenstein setup. So I got the Dell here with the RAID card, with all the cables, and it's a complete mess situation. But this guy's then going to boot up and let us into the web BIOS. Which is nice, because then I can actually administer it, which I can't on this guy. So now it's okay. Right now it's in the BIOS boot screen. And now this is the LSI one, so it's initializing devices. It's probably going to detect the RAID card. Even if it does, I'm still going to do it because, and the RAID array, because I've had more than enough issues of it just not wanting to work at all. And this RAID array just dropping out. I could recreate it, but it's a horrible write speed. There you go, it's detected it. So, yeah, now it's going to enter the so-called web BIOS. Hopefully it'll work. No, it won't. I'm going to reboot and show it to you once I get back into the web BIOS. So I had to swap RAID cards and stuff to get it to work perfectly correctly, and it actually detected it now. And it loads it because the info of how to make a RAID array is actually on the drives, not the thing. So we can go virtual drives, blah, back. Physical drives, back, physical view. Can you right click in here? No, you can't. So, what we have to do now is we have to go and tell it to make all the drives JBOD. I don't use this web BIOS very much. So, properties go. Can I change anything? I'm probably going to do this off camera because it really... Okay. Yeah, okay, here we go. Now I could delete it. It's going to ask me if I'm sure I want to delete it. I tell it yes. Now I have all these unconfigured hard drives. And now I can say make JBOD. Go. And... should be... good. Okay, so now I just have to go to all of them, tell them to go JBOD. Takes a second. And I'm almost done now. this interface is pretty bad. There's a way to do it over the network, which is what I normally do, but now I won't have to do that at all because it's basically working as just a dumb drive. So now I have all these JBOD drives in my system, so if I go physical view, I have a ton of JBOD drives. So now I'm going to boot back into this main computer and shut down this system. So if I click exit, exit app, and now it just tells me to reboot it. So I'm now going to go shut down him, enter it onto my other system, and go look and make sure that Linux detects all my drives properly. Okay, so before I install... Okay, so the next thing I'm going to have to do is install the RAID card back into this system here. So this little RAID card is going to somehow fit. This is built for micro ATX, which micro ATX has 4 slots and full width. I have a mini ITX board in it, and it's still squishy with like 7 drives and stuff. So fun. Is that fitting right? It feels like it is. Okay. It's not going in. There it goes. It's finally in. That's kind of squishy. And then you have to plug in these SFF 8087 SAS cables. And if you actually look it up, SAS has some kind of neat features compared to plain SATA. Because it lets you, one of the big features of SAS is you can use multipliers and splitters and stuff. And connect a maximum of, I think like 64,000 devices per port. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reconfigure all these fans to run at max speed. So this guy's hardwired to run slow. I'm going to make it so he's hardwired to run fast now, because he used to be in an environment where he had to be quiet. He's not there anymore. And the rest of them I'm going to do on the BIOS, and I'm going to show how I do that. Okay, so it's finally set up now and ready for me to test it and dork around with a few configuration settings and stuff. So, here you go. It should be turning on. Of course I didn't flip on the power switch, but now it's on. So, first thing we're going to do is BIOS settings is F2 on this motherboard. Just going to mash that. It's not going to go directly into the BIOS because it has to do the LSI web GUI thing first, which you saw earlier on the other system, but it can't open it. But it just has to show the message. So, fun mashing. Okay, so now we're finally in the BIOS. We're gonna go under, there you go, fan control and real-time monitoring. Is there a way? Probably click on here. Control mode, manual. Under minimum duty cycle, we're just gonna bump this guy up to 100. No, I can't just type. Because under speed thresholds, when it bugs it, we're gonna go and do that same thing for the rear fan. I can tell it that it's a different thing. You know what, we'll tell it it's an inlet, because that's what it really is. We're gonna change the minimum duty cycle on him as well to a full-on 100%, because I want to get this guy a little bit cooler, because it's in a hot room all the time. Gonna hit F10 to save and exit. Hopefully, because last time it was only showing me 2 of my drives in a JBOD, hopefully it shows me all of them this time. I'm just kind of being optimistic. You might be able to hear it's a bit louder because I need it quieter and I want to get extra air past those drives. It's not the best case for airflow, but it seems to be doing good enough for what I need. This guy always takes forever to post. So skip through that. So after a reasonable amount of work, he now shows all my drives in a JBOD in Linux. So now I'm going to have to go check ZFS on him and get him ready. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this all over SSH. So I'm going to now move this server over here up to the standard rack. where all the other ones are, and then I'm going to administrate it using another system. So I've decided to kind of go a pretty major change of plans on this server. So instead of having a Linux CentOS distro running FreeNAS on ZFS on Linux, I'm just going to be running ZFS on FreeBSD using FreeNAS, because that should be easier to set up and use. Also, Linux was giving me a ton of weird problems that were annoying me, and blah, this should work now, hopefully. So right now we're going to boot into my USB stick, hopefully if I push the button in time, and then we can boot into an installer. I've already disconnected all the other drives except for the one that I want to install it onto, so I have the ISO file this time, not the image file. The image file is great for if you're actually gonna boot off of the USB stick and keep it in there. So now I'm gonna boot into the installer, not the actual OS, which would happen if I had an image file. So here it is, it's detecting all my USB devices, all my keyboards and mice, everything like that. I've disconnected all my other drives, so the only drive I currently have in is a 160 gigabyte max storage, which is my install drive. Stays moderately cool and does fairly well. And pretty soon it's going to enter me into the installer. Okay, so I'm finally into it. I apparently had like a bad installer or something, so we're going to go install upgrade. Here is the drive I want to put it on, so ADA0. Oh, okay, so I click select it. Yeah, space selects. It's going to replace all the data. I'm doing basic install. Now I'm going to enter my root password off camera. And that's all you have to tell it. Now it's just going to be installing it. It'll take a minute or two. Really, it's not going to take that long to do it. And there you go. It actually just finished right now. Now I want to reboot my system. I'm going to take out my USB stick, and it should be a fully usable FreeBSD system that should boot into the proper hard drive and stuff. So once it powers off, now I'm going to turn it off, and then I am going to re-plug in all my drives, and then I'm going to go into the web configuration utility and configure it. Here's the little setup procedure, so I have to basically go and select all of these now, and then I can tell it to put it into a RAID Z. I don't want Z duplication because it uses a lot more of it. I'm going to go call this backup KUP because that's what it's going to be used as, and then I'm going to say add volume. That's going to say it's working on adding the volume. It's going to take a little bit, and now it's added the volume. So if we go on the not volume manager, view disks, those are all in there. Storage, here's the backup one, here's the actual usable space in here. So there you go, and now I can go and create snapshots and do pretty much everything I'd ever want to do. I'm now going to make this into a share so my other system can use it. Now in my FreeNAS thing, it shows everything is set up correctly, and on my main server I can see now that drive is showing up as /dev/sdd as a 6 terabyte drive, which I'm going to be using this extra 2.5 terabytes to make snapshots so I can't accidentally delete stuff. So now I'm going to mount that, and using rsync, it'll show us also the speeds of this drive, and we can show how we make snapshots. I'll show a few more things, and then I'm going to end this video. So now it's been copying for a little bit. We seem to be getting speeds peaking in the 60 to 70 megabyte per second range, which is pretty nice. CPU usage and stuff is still fairly low. Yeah, it's doing a lot better. Now it's ZFS, so it scrubs it, and it's even safer. If I go display system processes, you can see swap isn't being touched at all, and load averages is about 1.3, which isn't bad for hitting it pretty hard. So yeah, thanks for watching this little video of me finally getting the backup server to work properly. And there might be another one if it doesn't cooperate, but it should. So yeah, thanks for watching, and might be another one, so subscribe.